Now, did someone ask for mechs and anime waifus? Well, today, that's what you get. We're looking at ETE Chronicle with a storyline that's kind of hard to follow at times, but who cares because we all know why you want to play this. For the mechs, of course. I mean, why else? There's nothing else going on here. Feel free to speed up the video anytime you want. I'll be giving you a first impressions overview of this game, as I feel like it's not quite fair to do a full review when I haven't unlocked everything yet. Title chapters will be in the description below. Make sure to click the part that you want if you don't care about the whole video, but I do ask that if you enjoy the content, be sure to at least hit the like button down below. It helps out the algorithm. Let's go. Now, I highly recommend that if you like to play games on Android emulators, you wait until the bugs get worked out on this one. For now, stick to your normal mobile devices because it runs a lot smoother. Even the Google Play Games beta for Windows really sucks, but to be fair, it says it's untested right now, but you can play it sort of. The right joystick look around view didn't work good. Hardly at all for me. Now, if we get into the combat, we have a 4-character waifu setup. Your girls are classified by things like rarity, weapon type, and element. You have 4 weapon types: heavy, assault, special, and support. Your elements are resonant, magnetic, nuclear, penumbra, and photon. We'll cover that more in the character section, which might or might not be in this video. Now, on this pre-deployment screen, well, I can't talk today, you'll get your squad CP over on the right-hand side, the recommended CP for the battle, the type of battlefield, and the enemies that you'll fight, and the enemy halo if it's there. So in this particular one, I don't have an enemy halo. That's basically like the element type. Now, with this game, you're not using a different element against that element. You're using the same corresponding element halo. So if it's green, you need green. If they're red, then you need red, etc. But that's just how it goes. It's a little bit different than some of your other games. You can auto squad if you want, but the system will generally pick your strongest heroes instead of picking the one that you need for that halo, so you want to be careful if you do auto squad it. Now, once you're in combat, you're going to have a few things going on. Your girls will be on the right hand side, and this is where you can swap between them instantaneously. Now, at the bottom, you'll see your portraits again, and this is for your intrinsic capabilities. I'm going to go ahead and set this on auto while I talk. On your left is going to be your enemies, and you can flip between them on the fly so you can change your targets. You have 3 main buttons for combat in the bottom right. You have your normal attack, which is listed as auto right there in the big button. You've got your focus fire above that, and then your acceleration on the bottom. And when you use acceleration, you get temporary damage immunity. I'm going to go ahead and let this play out. You can see an ultimate right there going off. Now, when your ultimates are ready, you're actually going to see those on the right-hand side next to the portraits. Now, in this particular battle, I didn't actually have an enemy halo to worry about, but I'm going to jump into one of those so you can see what it looks like. On the post-battle screen, you can hit the stat button, and you can take a look at your squad and then the enemies. All right, so here's a battle where I have an enemy halo. You can see here it's green, and I have Obsidian here who also has green, so I should be good to go. I also have a strong enough CP for this whole battle, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal if I didn't. Now, even when the game is in auto, you actually still have control over the battle. You can still look around, you can still move your character the way you want, you can still click on the intrinsic abilities, you can still click on the ultimates yourself if you want. If the system doesn't do it before you do, you can still hit the acceleration and the normal attack and everything. So it's kind of neat that you actually have that and it's not just fully automated. So maybe that you just need some extra help. You can just turn on auto battle, but you still get to be able to play. Now, jumping into another battle here, I want to show you one more thing, and that's the pause menu. Now, with the pause menu, your combat is actually completely paused. So it's not like where you just pause and the battle is going on in the background. It's just giving you information. It's completely paused. And the reason why I want to show you this is because it has useful information. The battle info tab at the top is where we're on right now. This shows you all your enemies. You can click on your enemies there to get information about who it is that you're fighting. And then you can also look at your feature info, which is again like your elements that I call it, on the right hand side. And this is a recap just to tell you what each one does. At the top, again, you've got advanced guide, and this is going to show you your combat icons, what they mean and what they do. So again, you have your focus fire, you have your auto, your regular battle, your normal attack, and then your acceleration. Now, operation mode at the top, this is just to show you the icons between when you're in manual or fully auto. It's real simple. If you're in fully automatic mode, then your thing is going to be spinning. If it's not spinning, then you're in manual mode. Now, at the bottom, you can turn on or off your ultimate skills. And you can also change your ultimate skill animation in the settings, so that way they only go off one time, the first time that you actually see it, and then after that it won't do it anymore. So if you want to do that, then that's an option there. And you could also leave the battle if you feel like it. So sometimes you might need to do that if you get a little bit in over your head and you're really stuck. You don't want to waste any time. You can just get out of the battle. I'm going to go ahead and let this play out. I'm going to turn off auto mode, and I'm just going to do this manually. I'm going to go ahead and hit my focus fire. And then let me switch. Never mind. It's already over. All right, let me get into something a little bit tougher. So I'm completely stuck here on this experience level where you can get your experience resources. I'm not going to be able to win this at all, so you can see what it looks like when you lose. Now you see the terrain in this one is probably different than some of the others. So this one is in the air. There's 3 different types if I remember. You have air, ground, and naval. So obviously on the ocean. I'm going to switch to somebody who has a ranged attack. And she's dead. I'm down to 2. So the CP of this battle I think is like almost double of what I actually have. So this is definitely a self-deletion. Yeah, so when you failed, it just looks like that. It's all sad and black and white. But that kind of wraps up the combat. It's pretty straightforward. It's kind of neat because I like that you can actually still get in there even when you have auto, and because there's multiple types of attacks, not just like your ultimates, but because you have like those intrinsic abilities and then the focus fire and then your ultimates, kind of makes it a little more engaging. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's hop on over and take a look at the character management for this game. We're gonna go into the hangar. There's 2 sections right now, so we're just gonna focus on this at the moment, which shows your girls and the mechas. And this is like where you do things like you're leveling up, equipping your gear and all that. But I'll get into the more gallery view after this. I'll start off with Obsidian here. Now with her, you can see out at the bottom, there is a classification. She's considered a heavy class with a current rank of S. The arrow icon next to that down below is where you level up your hero. So you can unlock the level cap about every 10 levels or so. And basically you can either click these individually or just do a quick add like a lot of these games and then hit level up, and it'll try and select as many of the items that you have in order to get them up to the next level. Now, combat power is up at the top right, and this shows things like your basic stats. If you click the check details, right, this is going to bring up more detailed information. So you're going to have like all of your stats here. You can drill down to see where you're at. Below that, you've got the type. And for this area here, it'll bring up the screen so you can see what kind of battlefield advantage this particular one has. So it'll show you that class information that I referenced before. And you can see that she's a green class type, green class drive type, resonance. On the left-hand side, you can see that she has a battlefield advantage for the ground. So out of the 3 ground, naval, and aerial. So everybody will have some type of advantage. You click out of that, and then you go below, you got your skill. And with your skills, you have to click on each one individually to get the info on what it does. You have your active skill attack, and then you have passive. So I think everybody always has 2 passive skills, but you don't unlock the second passive skill until you rank up to an S class. Now, after you're done with this data section, over on the top right, you've got your modify, equipment, rank up, and overclock. So if we start with modify here, this is just so you can battle in the 3 different types of terrain: naval, aerial, and ground. Equipment is for your weapons. Rank up is your class, like from A to S and from S to SS. And overclock is like a general stat upgrade. So when you have enough materials and then you have the coins to do it, you can just hit improve like that, and you can get overclock up. Now back up to the main hangar screen, those icons that you actually have next to your hero here, you can actually click those and it actually gives you the same shortcut as you were if you confirmed that we're actually in with that character. So you can see that battlefield advantage and that class positioning, drive type, and whatever they are. But your second character area is the fun one. And that's just below the main icon here when you're in the hangar. And this is where you give things like your waifu's gifts. You take them on dates, quote unquote, to increase your intimacy scores. And of course, you get to check out their other outfits if they have any. Now, unlike some other games, it looks like getting more skins actually does give you a stat bonus, so it's not just cosmetic. So let's see, if I click Icicle here, for example, this is one that has multiple outfits available right now. So you can check out these outfits, you can zoom in and out, you can change your display mode if you want to, and this will do it in a portrait fashion. Take your screenshots, all that stuff that you want to do. Now in here you also have access to the walk mode, and this is a different one than you see on the home screen. So if we click the walk mode here, you can actually have them walk down to this hangar here that has a mecha, and there's going to be a little bit glowing pattern on one of the icons. All right, so like one of these here. So if you walk on that, it's going to put them up in their ETEs, and from here you get to do a couple of different things. So this is like your screenshot mode, so you can change your X and Y axis. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. They actually give you ability to do a filter change if you want to, and so you have all these different functions here. It's kind of neat. You can also go to style up here, change the hue, saturation, brightness, background, and stuff like that. That way you can kind of like generate a really cool screenshot if you want, and it kind of saves it in game, and then you can, I guess, share those on your social media or whatever it is that you want to do. So if you hit snap, it'll add the ETE Chronicle logo, which is pretty cool. And you can also choose your feature on off, right? Which is your, I call it the element. So in this one, she's particularly red. So it shows that as part of her glowing on her mecha. Now back out to here in this area, you can also listen to the different voices that the character has if you want to. All right, and then you got your gifts that you can give. And then every day you get the ability to do like, I think 3 different dates total. So if you click on the bottom right, you have that little heart icon there. And then you can go to these 3 different areas. You can choose one. They'll give you a quick sentence that kind of helps you to understand what it is that they're going to respond to. And so you get the seek topics option. And so if you click the wrong one, they'll say like, oh, they're not really interested. This is kind of like a neutral one. They gave a polite response. If they're really interested, then they'll actually respond that way. And you get, I think, 3 different chances. So all of these were just a polite response. I didn't really read what she said. And then that just increases that score. Now, the last thing that you can do in this area is the training. And I just unlocked this not too long ago. I think it unlocks a level around 17, 18. So if you click that, this helps you to improve your overall battle terrain conditions for each girl. So it starts at grade B and then it goes up to triple S, for example. So if you click on, let's see, if you click up here, you can see that for her, I have achieved the Vanguard, and the naval, tactic, aerial, ground, everything is a level B. The next one will be mostly B, right? And then some A, and then it just keeps going up from there, and you get some rewards along with it. So that's something that you definitely want to do as you have the ability. That way they function better in each of those terrains. Moving on to your core functions of the game and data resources, I'll start with the left-hand side. You've got your event here, and event actually is a resource collection. It's not actually the limited events, that's a different area. Below that, you've got the store, and there's usually a freebie to collect every single day. I already collected mine, but it's usually in store pack, I think, and then somewhere in there. But there's a freebie that you can get every single day. Below that is going to be a sliding banner, and one of them is the limited time events, but it'll show you other things like summons. If you click the little triangle that's next to it, it'll slide out a full list of everything. And then next to that is the walk mode on the bottom. This is like the walk mode that's in the character gallery, but it's a different area. And you have a link to your skins if your character has it, and then also you can just change them out for your home screen there. Now over on the right hand side, you have limited timed events. So that's where you're gonna wanna go every time there's something that's going on at the moment. Near that is the challenge, and the challenge are special stages that you can do, broken up into 5 sections so far. So you've got special ops, tactical drills, void realm, and enclosure strategy, and peak arena. So I can't access obviously those last 2 because some of them are story locked and some are character level locked. Daily missions, this is basically like your objective task list. You're gonna make sure you collect things out of here as much as possible because there are things like for experience and stuff that you really need out of here that will help you out. Now the hangar, this is where we just went over. This is where you get access to your heroes. Now, redeem is a second storefront. It's where you spend like your other currencies to exchange for items, which is different than the first store where you outright spend money. So as you collect these very specific currencies here, this is where you exchange them out. Now, battle is your main story driven missions, but also your material missions. So when you go in here at the bottom, if you hit material, get to slide that over. This is where you access stuff like doing your experience levels, your ascension, overclock, resource expedition, and fund. Now you have to have level 4-13 to unlock the fund. Yeah, so I can't get in there yet. Now for the main story, there is 15 total chapters. I'm currently on 4. Now then at the bottom of the home screen, you've got the lab. I don't have access to that yet again, but I do have patrol. This is where you like send your characters out on missions and they can just gather resources and all that. Now they make it real easy because they have like the quick patrol that you can do and the quick claim. So I've already sent people out. They need to be claimed. I did that. If I want to send them back out, you just hit quick patrol. Super simple. And then there's gifts that you can claim up there. So next to patrol, we got recombination. Now this might need its own little guide, but you have 2 sections. You have core recombination and material recombination. With core combination, you have to have a maxed out ETE, so you can take that core and convert it to an S rank universal core. Now, material combination is the big one, and that's so you can synthesize your various materials into other ones that you need. It's like a lot of gachas where you might have the direct color of material for that character, but you can take something else and synthesize it for the one that you need, or you can combine like lower grade materials to get the higher grade one that you need for the level up. And you can take like your junk weapons and stuff and that you collect, you can convert them to liquid alloy, and you need that liquid alloy in order to upgrade your weapons. So if I go to like weapons here, I've got a bunch of like junk weapons, so I can just like select a bunch of them here and I can say decompose, and then I get that liquid alloy. Squad here is in the middle. That's simply so you can set up your squad and you can do things like change your lead unit. And you can set up like squad presets and all that. Storage is just your item collection. Mainframe, you have a gallery and you have a mainframe tech right now. I think you get more things added as time goes on, but I can't access the mainframe tech until I reach level 25, so I'm not sure all the things that are going to be in here. Dormitory, this is like in, say, Girls Frontline 2 and other games where you can visit your sinkers and apparently give them a ring, but that's like when you hit level 50. So they call it a ring of vow, and when you get that, it actually gives them a stat bonus as well. And this is where like you can change outfits if you have one. You can also take in-game snapshots. Now right now it only shows me a couple of sinkers that I have here. I'm not sure like what the threshold is to unlock more. So if I go to here and I say enter room, you can like click and hold and I think like it interacts or something. Now, if you go back out here, all of the areas, they have a thing for tips. And you can click that so you can get an idea better of like what this area is supposed to be. So it'll tell you about the ring of vow and everything and how everybody gets a stat bonus once they get it and all that. So always click that because it's actually really helpful. And that pretty much sums up the main stuff that I have unlocked at my current level. I'm sure there's more things I know that I can get and I can't show you that yet. Like the arena is something that I really want to get to. And I know there's an arena shop, but again, I can't get to the arena shop either. So I'll have to make an update video to that once I get some more progress. Now, wrapping things up up here with my first impressions of ETE Chronicle. There's a good amount of things going on in this game with various kinds of challenges, resource battles, and character management. It has good potential if you're into squad-based strategy games. Now just keep in mind that it doesn't work good on Android emulators yet, so the performance is super rough if you go that route. Stick to regular devices and it runs great. In fact, when I first started playing this, I had a very negative view of the combat, but I didn't realize that it was performing so badly through my emulation. When I switched off to one of my phones, then I actually saw the difference and it changed my whole perspective. So the battles can move pretty fast, they're decently intense, and there's a lot more manual control versus a lot of gacha games I've covered, because they actually let you choose the enemy that you're hitting. You have a couple of different attacks to use and you can switch between your squad mates on the fly. And I also think the different battle terrain adds a little bit more variety to the game. In terms of daily gacha resources, you don't get that much though. You'll rely on getting rewards mostly from certain objective completions, sending out people on missions, etc., all that, instead of just like day-to-day logins like you get on some other games. The music is also very touch and go. Some of it is okay, but most of it is pretty lame. There was an opportunity to really put in some good music with the battles because they can get intense at times, but they didn't really do that here. So I hope they change it later on with some updates. The story was a little bit hard to grasp at first too, because it felt like they dropped you into the middle of a storyline that you were already supposed to know. So if you end up feeling that way, then I feel like you're not alone, because that's how I felt. I also didn't feel as engaged in it because it has mostly text with some voice acting. If you compare it to something like maybe Girls Frontline 2 that has heavy voice acting, ambient sounds at all times that really immerse you into it, then something like this will feel a little bit bland and even a little bit disappointing. Now obviously those are two different types of games, but I feel like they could have done better with this one. But even with that, I definitely see this game lasting a good while and being built upon. It might be a good sleeper hit for the first half of 2025 even. So if you found this overview helpful or at least mildly entertaining, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you want to see more content on ETE Chronicle or other mobile games, feel free to subscribe. I've got more stuff coming soon, including some hardware. Let me know in the comments what you think about this game so far. This has been Blue Screen Attack, and I'll see you in the next game.
ご褒美が楽しみだわ。